Death, and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm Courtney,
And I'm MK.
and how are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. So, yesterday, yeah, it was yesterday. I don't even know. Um, I had my first bridal shower. This is one that
Yay!
Dan's family threw for me, and it was so sweet. And I was really nervous, because like the shower that like my family, I know my family. You know what I mean? And like even his family that I
Mhm.
know, I still I have like I absolutely have like imposter syndrome about like being with him a lot of the time. And like, I'm just convinced that like secretly his entire family thinks that I'm not good enough for him,
Sure.
which, whatever.
It's not true, but
It's
I
not,
get it. Yeah.
but like everyone was just like so nice and so sweet and so excited to like be there for us. And like, it was a lot of, it was way better than I expected. And also, my favorite part was it was a buffet, but I picked the menu
Love
so
buffet.
I could
Oh,
eat everything on the buffet.
that's
Because you
amazing.
know how it is with me and food. Like, I will never be the person to be like, don't pick that. But like, also, I can't eat a lot of shit. So like,
Right.
I picked everything that I wanted on the buffet, and so that meant every single thing on the buffet I could eat. It was
Ugh, what a good time.
I ate so much. It's fine. It's great. It's a good
What was your
time.
favorite thing of the buffet?
Honestly, they had their bacon was like really good, like really well cooked, but also the carving station, the ham at the carving station
You
was
had a carving station at your shower?
yeah.
Stop. I cannot with you.
It was so good.
Mm,
Delicious.
you're too
And they
much.
had fruit, right? But all of the fruit was fruit I could
Seasons.
eat. Yeah, it was
Oh,
pineapples, cantaloupe, honeydew, and grapes in the fruit salad. It's like
amazing. It
amazing.
also sounds delicious. I love fruit.
I love melons. I'm not a big
Ugh, me
watermelon person.
too. Ugh,
I'm not a big watermelon person. Like watermelon
yeah,
to me, it's okay, but it's like overrated. Everybody loves watermelon and
absolutely.
it's just okay. But give me an assorted melon plate
Cantaloupe.
with cantaloupe and honeydew and I will fuck that shit up.
I am so sad about how many people hate cantaloupe because it is truly one of my favorite fruits.
Have
It's
you
so
ever
like
have you ever had
mild.
prosciutto wrapped cantaloupe?
Absolutely, I have.
Oh my God.
Absolutely, I have. It is a godsend. It came from God himself.
Yeah.
Yes. God, I love a good salt. It's like my like mango and my sushi. Like it's
Oh,
so good to have a nice citrus with it.
yes.
A little salt. It's
Oh, yes.
so
A
good.
sushi roll with mango in it. Mm. Just like
Yeah,
mango
mango
in
is just
general. Mango is my favorite fruit.
love mango.
Um,
I
but
love mine too. I love mango.
but I'm
I had no idea.
I'm very spoiled though because I lived in Thailand for so long that like
Mm, yeah.
good mango. I I have not had mango really in a long time because nothing here holds up compared
Mm.
to like fresh mango that like my friend picked off a tree and handed to me kind of shit like
Ugh,
which
yeah.
like the way people outside of New York State don't know what apples are, people outside of Thailand don't know what mangoes are like um and like Dan was trying to be really sweet and he like there was actually like mango in the grocery store and he got it for me and I felt so bad because it was underripe and I could and
Oh.
I was like took a bite and I just kind of looked at him and he goes, "It's not good, is it?" And I was like, "I'm sorry." And he goes, "Don't, why are you sorry?" And I was like, "Because you try to do something sweet and I'm not gonna eat it." He was like, "It's not your fault, it's not ripe." Like, that's
And also it's not
not
like it's like thousands of dollars. It's,
right.
it was like 60
Yeah.
cents probably. I don't know
Yeah,
what
probably a little bit. I
fruit
mean,
costs anymore. Maybe like a dollar 20. Who's to say?
I
I don't know how to buy
you can't
fruit.
even get a pack of gum for $1.20 anymore.
Look, I don't know how to buy groceries anymore because I keep going back and forth between New York and New Orleans, and they are different prices.
Oh,
And
I
then I
believe
go to
it.
another state I've never been to, and I'm like, I don't know how to buy groceries here. Is this a good price here? Is it not a good price here?
But you have to
Who's to
remember,
say?
I live in New York State. You can't buy
I
shit
know.
for $1.20.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I bet I could get a mango for a dollar 20 here. So, you
Probably.
know, I gotta go to the grocery
Um,
store and get fun things. I need to buy
but
fun
but
food.
not grits.
Not grits. We have 3 boxes of grits. We don't need
Oh,
any more.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We're gonna try and make. Speaking of groceries, we're talking about trying to do our little Trader Joe's and Aldi trip this week to get our fall stuff. I know I got some fall stuff while I was in New Jersey, but it had just started coming out, so
Mm,
I'm ready to. And our Trader Joe's is better than New Jersey,
I believe it.
so we're gonna try and go this week and get some groceries, and I'm super stoked because I'm in a like cooking mode again. Like as
Mm,
I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, being slightly manic and just doing a lot of things with my body.
yeah.
Um, I've been cooking a lot and planning meals, and this week I'm gonna start my friend Kirsten, who lives down the road. Uh, she was like, I've been trying to walk more with like the dogs. They have 3 dogs now, which is a lot. And I was like, I've been trying to walk more too since I've been back from New York and I'm not walking anymore.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna get up in the mornings and try and do like a half-hour walk every
Oh, I
morning and
love
be like,
that.
yeah. So I'm really excited. We're gonna start tomorrow.
I love
And
that.
I literally just have to like roll out of the bed. Like she's like a 5 minute drive away, if that. And
Perfect.
so I can just walk out and we're gonna just take like a little half-hour walk every morning and
Love it.
so get our steps in, chat because I never get to see her, I feel like. Um, Chat and start our day with some fresh air movement and then be ready to take on the rest of our day, hopefully, because she leaves work at 10, so we're just go at 9. It's plenty of time.
I just realized I have to go to Trader Joe's this week.
Yes, what
Um,
do you need?
they have they have red Leicester. It's a type of cheese that you can't get in America usually. It's like only really made in
Mm.
England. And it's literally on their list of what's in limited time in store this week. So
Mm.
apparently I have to
Used to
go.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
I'm used to Aldi doing their like different countries.
Yeah, but I
Not
don't
Trader
this
Joe's.
is just like a tra I don't know.
It's just random.
It's from a farm co-op that's doing cheese making. Um,
Hmm. I'll have to
so
see if we have that here too, if it's at
um,
our Trader Joe's.
right? Mm.
Um, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to our morning walks, and we'll be like the mall walkers, but outside around the neighborhood. So I
Mm.
guess we'll be like the
Yeah.
gossipy neighbors. I don't know.
No, I
I don't
love
know what
that.
our vibe is going to be. We haven't started yet. Who's to say? It
Who's
can go
to
anywhere it
say?
wants. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that and
Love
starting
it.
my day early, doing a walk in the morning, doing some work, being able to work out, and then also study some because my course is going to open in 9 days. So
That's good.
I need to try and get through my lectures that I have to get through before then. That I don't know what's going to happen, but I gotta buckle down and study for the bar. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how I am. Do you want to give me a little bit more spiritual guidance for the day?
Sure. It's not great.
Okay, that's
It
fine.
it does kind of feel very relevant to this episode of Hannibal though, somehow.
That's great.
Um, right. That's not encouraging. Um, the key to surviving a surgical internship is denial. Ignore the surgery part, but we deny that we're
Preach.
tired. We deny that we're scared. We deny how badly we want to succeed. And most importantly, we deny that we're in denial. We only see what we want to see and believe what we want to believe. And it works. We lie to ourselves so much that after a while, the lies start to seem like the truth. We deny so much that we can't recognize the truth right in front of our faces.
Yep. So I bought a shadow work journal so I can stop being in denial about my life.
Also, like, okay, well, Graham.
Also, okay, well, grab, yeah. It's fine. Everything is fine. It's great. Yeah, this is another episode that's a little bit of an adventure. Um,
Yeah.
so here we go. This is Hannibal, season 2, episode 12. I think it's Tome 1 is how you say it. It's TOME-WAN. I think it's Tome 1.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Um, it aired May 16th of 2014. The number one song is Still Happy. Oh, it was rated 9.2 out of 10, so we're back to our 9.2 status. Um, Number one song is Still Happy. Number one movie is Godzilla.
Great.
Um, I don't even remember Godzilla coming out in 2014, but I guess it did. And the number one book is still the same, The Target by David Baldacci. Um, so when I went to look up on this day what had happened, I mistyped and I put 2024, not 2014. And I was very confused. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that happened then. Oh, I didn't know this happened then. To be fair, though, I also did not know these things happened this May that we have just passed. So it's fine. I did go
Okay.
back and fix it. Like
Okay.
Dabney Coleman died, and we discovered a new branch of the Nile. Like missed both of those events, but they totally
Cool.
happened this year.
Great.
Um, so in 2014, though, Barbara Walters retired on this day. She had been
Okay.
her career was 52 years long, so she'd been doing it for a minute. Um, this is also the year that Darden agreed to sell Red Lobster and started all of its woes before it went into bankruptcy and was saved by who was it who just saved it? Lil Jon? One of the
Lil,
rappers.
Lil Jon, maybe rappers are
So
either getting
funny.
arrested or saving all of humankind. There is no
No,
in between.
it was so funny. Who saved? I'm gonna just ask, who saved Red Lobster? Oh, Flavor Flav.
Well, yeah, of course it was Flavor Flav.
Yeah,
Flavor Flav and Snoop Dogg for president.
yeah, yeah. Flavor Flav went and like bought everything on the menu one day. Like he just was doing insane stuff, and
Yep.
they didn't go bankrupt. They didn't close their doors.
Yeah,
Um,
one day we will have what we really need as a nation, and that is Flavor Flav Snoop Dogg as the presidential ticket.
Absolutely. Let's write them in this year. See what happens.
I might
They're
actually
not going to live forever.
I might actually vote for Flavor Flav for president this year.
Do it. Do it. Um, so I also learned that apparently there's a motto of the day every day saved on Wikipedia. Because I was having a hard time finding the Wikipedia page for May 16th of 2014, like I normally start with.
Yeah.
So I found the motto of the day, and it's apropos.
Oh, good.
It was, but on earth, worse things await. Why is that the motto of the day? Don't know, but it fits. So it is what it is. Um, our director is Michael Reimer. Our writers are Chris Brancato and Scott Nimmerfro, and our editor's Ben Wilkinson. So
Okay.
it's been a few episodes. We've seen a couple, but we've seen them all.
Yeah.
Our guest star is Daniel Cash, who plays Carlos. He is known for Aliens, Diary of the Dead, RoboCop, and Mama. He's also done a lot of one-off roles, but he's played like every side character. Like he doesn't
Okay.
seem to have like a role because
Okay.
he's played the cop, he's played the doctor, he's played the like bouncer, he's played like the best friend. Like he's played all of these
He
different
hasn't
side
been like
roles.
typecasted.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Um, and so some of these things that he was in, the new show coming out, I don't know if you've seen it, advertised 75 times like I have, but the new show Brilliant Minds with Zachary Quinto, that's
I
coming out.
have not. I did finally see commercials for that show that you were telling me about to watch with the girl from Always Sunny. Did finally see the commercials for that.
Oh, High Potential, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the first two episodes. I really like it. I haven't watched a lot of TV since leaving Jersey.
No.
But yeah, so he's going to be on that show. I think that show comes out like next week, so I have no idea who he plays. And he was Mr. Stavros in Degrassi: The Next Generation. Um, and
Great.
last but not least, he was Jack the Ripper in Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Gee,
So what a wild, I'm telling you, this man has played every role.
everything.
Like,
A middle school
and
teacher and Jack the Ripper.
yeah, yeah. And a hitman and a doctor and a police officer. So, you know,
Great.
you need a man, he's your guy. There wasn't a lot about his like personal life. He's married to Haley Tyson, who looks to also be an actress. I didn't look her up, but that's about it. He's from Quebec.
Cool, 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 cool.
Yeah. So fun times. So now let's get into it. We start with Hannibal and Will, and they are talking about Will killing Hannibal, and they're talking about how he's like put a snare around his neck, basically, and he's like, what, like, going into murdery details, and then they start talking about how Hannibal wants Mason dead. And he's like, I know, like, Will's like, I know that these are all things you want. Like, this is how you've wanted it to be, whatever. And then Hannibal brings it back to be like, to have Will imagine how he would kill him. And so we
He's
see,
like, you want me dead? How would you do it? Think about it.
right. And so we go to his fantasy, and he hangs him up, slits his throat, and feeds him to the pigs and Mason's little pig building.
Yeah.
And then we get to the credits. So that's an opener for you.
Yeah. Sure is.
Yep. So then we go to Mason and Hannibal, our dastardly duo. And so Mason, of course, only wants to talk about Margot.
Of course.
He like is obsessed. He cannot not talk about her. And so he starts, he obviously talks about how like she can never have children again, and then he like is acting like he can own Hannibal, like he's owned everyone else. He's like, these are the things I tell you to do, like you're supposed to just do them.
Right.
And of course he pulls out a knife and on Hannibal, and Hannibal is just like not phased at all because
No, because
he knows
Hannibal's a
everyone's next move.
psychopath.
He's a psychopath. But so he doesn't stab Hannibal, but he does stab his chair.
Okay.
And he's just
I
like,
will say when he stabs the chair and goes, you can bill me for that later. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was
this
like,
man has endless money.
I was like, I understand that he is completely psychotically unhinged and that's supposed to be like creepy dangerous, but it was the Joker. Like it was Batman and the Joker.
Yeah.
Mason is like this episode, he no longer scared me because he's just the Joker.
Right. Yeah. You like he was so scary before because you didn't know his capabilities, but now you like we know him.
Right. And
Like,
and it's still not a good thing. Like I wouldn't hang out with the Joker. Like
no, right.
but he's no longer like disturbing to me because there's a comic element to it because he's just so unhinged without any intelligence behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Um yeah, and so then we jump over to Margot, and she's seeing all the scars, and we see all the scars on her back, and she's talking to, Will and Hannibal, and she's telling him how like the surgery could have been done laparoscopically, but that Mason said to make sure that they left a scar so that not only would she be like torn apart, she would also remember it forever.
Yeah.
And that's just the most sadistic thing. It's so terrible. And so they're of course talking about Mason and talking about all of these things. And Will just keeps telling her, he's like, you just have to survive. Like, you just have to survive him. Like, there's no other choice.
Yeah.
And then we go to Jack and Will, who I was thrilled to see together again.
But boy, was I not expecting this scene.
Boy, was I not ready. You are correct. You are correct. So they're talking about Hannibal, obviously, and Will's talking about how like some of his methods like seem unorthodox, but they do, get the job done. Like he does always kind of follow through and accomplish his goals. So that's something, that people can be mindful of and take from him without the psychopathy side.
Yeah.
And this is also where we do get confirmation that he is working for Jack. And this, again, we don't know how long this has been going on because it doesn't really say, like, but we do know that all of this has been because he's working with Jack.
Right. and that he
Um,
is actually trying to get Hannibal to slip up and commit a crime that Will can witness and
yeah,
use against him.
right. And this is also where he tells Jack about Mason because Jack's like, there's something you're not telling me. And he's like, well, there's this guy
And
that
he's
Hannibal wants me to kill. Um, and
and
so,
he should I should like I shouldn't,
right.
but I should.
Yeah. Yeah. And he doesn't tell him everything, obviously, but he tells him, that he exists and that that's the next target. But then he starts talking about, I'm a good fisherman. And that's where it makes you think back and it's like, he's been saying this even before he was like in prison about Hannibal. Like, how long has this con been going on with him
Right.
and Jack? Like, did he go to jail under the impression, like, did
That
they already know?
that it would get
Like,
Hannibal to come clean to do something like
right. Like, were they like, this is the only way to get to him? Like, nothing else is an option? I don't know. So it's just
I mean,
opens a lot of
think about
doors.
how many things that Will said knowing that there were cameras, like how
Hmm.
semi-incriminating some of that stuff was.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but this is when he does talk about his plan where he's like, I'm going to convince him to kill Mason and I will be there and I'll be the witness. And then Jack's like, but we're offering up another person. And he's like, oh, yeah. So, like, he won't kill him and then you'll have two witnesses. I was like, or he could kill him. You could be the witness. Get it on camera somewhere, maybe. And then Mason's gone and Hannibal's gone. Because I don't know that Mason
Yeah.
should be a credible witness because he's got a lot of things he needs to go down for. Um, and then Jack says, not two witnesses, but there may be three witnesses. And it's like, oh, and my first thought was, oh, maybe he's gonna have like Alana jump on board, although she is not stable enough to do that.
Right.
But
I thought that he was going to have take him to Alana and have Alana tell him that she knows everything. I also thought potentially that he was going to take him to Freddie and and I didn't know if Will was in on Freddie being alive.
I think he has to
I
be.
think he has to be. I think he has to be, but I thought maybe like that's I where they went
Mhm.
next, I did not expect. I thought it was Alana, and then my second thought was maybe it was Freddie. And so then like the who it was like not even in my top
Yeah.
two guesses.
Right. No, I completely out of my head because he says that and he goes into another witness room and there is Dr. DeMarie. And yeah, shock, let me tell you.
I gasped, and my mom was like, "Who is that?" I said Gillian Anderson, but like that's not important. It's because she was blah blah blah, and I explained the context, and my mom just goes, "Is she speaking with her British accent or her terrible fake American accent?"
Oh, bless her heart.
And I was like, yeah, it's not. It's the fake one, but it's fine. It's still
It's fine. It's fine. Still Gillian Anderson. Um,
because I will say sometimes it's better than others, but her American accent isn't the strongest American accent I've ever heard.
sure, yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, but yeah, so Will goes to talk to her, and we learn that she's been given full immunity to tell everything she knows about Hannibal, to be, involved with everything,
Mhm.
which is like big. So
Yeah.
like then they start talking about the patient that died in her office, the one that said
Mhm.
he died by his own being strangled with his own tongue.
When I
And
tell
they're
you,
like,
when he said it said he choked on his tongue, and she goes, "Well, it wasn't exactly attached at the time."
see,
I
and I
almost spit
assumed
my
that.
cereal. It wasn't even, I did assume that. I assumed that that she shoved it back down his throat.
Mhm.
Um, but the way she said it, I almost spit my cereal across the room.
It was so crazy. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so they're talking about how he actually died, and she says she killed him thinking it was self-defense, but she knows now that she was influenced by Hannibal, that like at first it was self-defense, but it didn't have to go that far.
Right.
Like she didn't actually have to kill him. And then she kept referring to him as our patient because her and Hannibal both were the therapist, I guess. Um,
Well,
and go ahead.
and then she says something about Hannibal being her psychiatrist. And Will's like, I thought you were his psychiatrist. And she goes, I really wanted to believe that that's what was happening. And I was like,
Yeah. And she started talking about the influences, and she's like, he's gonna influence you to kill someone you love. That is the next step. Like that is
yeah.
how he progresses. Um, and she does say that whimsy will be the way that he'll get caught, which is
She said he is so confident in himself that he will get caught because of celebrating his victoriousness. Like he'll be so
mhm,
impressed with himself,
yeah.
which
Um,
is disgusting.
it is, yeah, absolutely. So then we go to Will and Hannibal, and they're just drinking wine like buds. Um, and Hannibal has decided that he wants them to kill Mason together, as we all saw coming.
Yeah.
Um, and Will tells him that he's like, you're just fostering codependency. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, and that's exactly what you did with Abigail as well. You like she killed someone that you then saved her from to build that codependent relationship with her as well. Like she didn't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
Um, and he starts talking about, he's like, and then you've done that to me. You've alienated me. He says you took away Bloom, you took away Abigail, like you've taken away everyone, and it's just me and you now.
And he's like, and
Um,
now you gave me a glimmer of hope about a child, and then immediately took that away also.
right. And Will says that they're both alone without each other, which is true. It is
Yeah.
true. Um,
Just because it's icky doesn't mean it's not true.
right. So we go back to Jack and Dr. DeMaurier, and Jack is just totally upset with her that she ran. He's like, I don't understand why you did this. Like, we had the hardest time finding you. She's like, yeah, that was how it was supposed to be. He's like, you couldn't protect me. Like, you saw what happened to Will. You saw what happened to these other people. Like, it wasn't like the FBI was going to protect me. I had to
Right.
just get away. And then she tells him, she's like, Hannibal's still in control. Like, you may think you're running the game now, but he still knows every move before you're making it. Like,
Right.
there's no way he doesn't. He like is always in control of everything, and it only influences others. So you're not going to catch him in the act of like killing someone,
Yeah.
which is true. Um,
And
and then we go,
doesn't she say something about how the way that Hannibal works is that he preys on people um who don't realize that he's preying on them,
yeah,
but that the way he's doing it to Will and the control Will thinks he has makes it even worse.
yeah, because she says he only influences people who don't know they're being influenced. And then, but Will is aware of everything, which makes it worse. Yeah.
Because
Um,
he's gonna have to do more grand things or try harder with Will because Will knows what's going on, which means he's going to be more careful and more tricky and more
yep.
and more difficult to catch.
Right. Yeah. And so then we go to Hannibal and Jack, and Hannibal has made dinner. He's made coladettes, and they're talking about Will, and he's saying that Jack is saying he still has concerns, and he's like, oh, you have concerns about Will, like, I think that's okay, but I think he's fine. And
Yeah.
then Jack says that Bloom is still convinced that Will is still guilty of killing Freddie. He's like, I like Bloom still thinks it's him. Um, and of course, Hannibal is just taking it all in.
Yep, because
So
that's what he
we
does.
he just yeah. So then we go to Mason and Will, and Mason has gone to Will's house to pick him up, which don't think I want him to know where I live, but he's got enough money, he would have figured it out anyways.
Yep.
Um, and so we go, they get in the car and they go over to Hannibal, and it seems that Mason has sent two hitmen to kill Hannibal. He immediately kills one of them. Mateo is gone, no
Yep.
questions. And then Carlos stuns him. And when we wake up, they've taken him to the pigs. Carlos has hung him up and removed his shoes so the pigs will eat him. And he starts trying to bait Carlos into killing him because he knows the next step is not going to go well.
Nope.
And so he just starts baiting Carlos. He's like, I don't want to like go through all of this. And Mason steps in and he's like, you can't kill him. Like, this part of the thing is you can't kill him. And then we see that Will is also there. We saw that they were riding together, but now we see Will as well. And this is the exact setup that Will had in his fantasy.
Yep.
And so Hannibal knows that, and Will knows that. And I don't think Mason knows anything, but he gives Will his knife. He's just along for the ride at this point.
Yep.
And he sets it up and he gets ready. And as soon as he would go to like cut his throat, instead he cuts him down. And Carlos immediately knocks Will out. And when he wakes up, he is surrounded by blood smears on the ground. And he doesn't see anyone else, so he goes to pull up the rope from the pigsty. And as he pulls it up, there is a half of Carlos's body left because the pigs have started devouring him.
Yeah.
And so he is no longer with us.
Bye-bye. Rip.
Yeah. So we then go to see where Mason and Hannibal went. And Hannibal has drugged him with psychedelic compounds that look insane. Like, I don't know what the situation is, but it looks insane.
Yeah, I don't really know what he did, but this may be why I think that Mason is the Joker after this scene.
It probably is, yeah. And Mason starts seeing him turn into like a boar briefly, in the same sense of Will seeing him as a deer.
Yeah.
He sees him as a boar. And then, you know, he's got his knife out, and then Hannibal is coaxing him, and he starts telling him, he's like, I want you to show me like how your father tested the fat. And he's acting a fool and laughing like a lunatic.
Yeah.
And Hannibal, he goes to take it up, and Hannibal's like, no, I want you to show me on yourself. And then we leave that scene.
Great.
Which is probably for the best. Except now we're going to Will's house to see, we're bringing all the pieces together.
Yep.
And Winston is outside when he arrives, and he's like, oh, hello. Where is everyone else?
What is going on? Yeah.
And when he walks inside, Mason is in his house, covered in blood, feeding the dogs what turns out to be his own face. So that's icky. And of course, we pan back, and Hannibal is standing beside Will, as he does. And they start talking about murder and mercy. And Hannibal asks him, he was like, is this murder? Is this mercy? And Will's like, there's no such thing as mercy. Like, mercy only exists because we've created these, you know, terrible scenes to have a need for mercy.
Yeah.
And Hannibal's like, oh, well, based on that logic, murder doesn't exist. And I was like, no, wrong logic.
Actually not how logic works, but okay.
That's not how logic works. But then also tries to justify what he's saying, which is not correct.
Right.
And so then Mason's like, I'm hungry. And Hannibal just tells him to eat his own nose. And he does. And it's just like, these drugs, I don't know what is in this man's body. Right. And so Will says, so he's trying to get Will to kill him now, and to like put him out of his misery. And Will's like, he's your patient. You should be the one to do it, not me.
Yeah.
And so Hannibal breaks his neck. I was like, okay, fast and easy. As I thought, fast and easy. We're done with that. But also, like, there's only one witness, and it's Will. And so far, Will has not been a good enough witness in the past.
Right.
Since Hannibal. So we go back to Jack, and he's walking around the Burger's house. Mason's not dead.
Yeah,
I
I was very confused by that. I could tell it was obviously Mason's voice, and I could tell from where
right.
Jack was and what he was looking at that it would be Mason. But I was like,
Plus, what I thought at first was that like it was Mason's voice computerized because I mean it sounds computerized. He's lost half his face. And
right.
I was like, I think wonder if Hannibal like has just pre-programmed or like has programmed his computer to sound
But
like
his
him.
eyes were moving.
Right. Well, that was before I saw him.
Oh,
That was my
okay.
thought before I saw him. Is that I thought maybe Hannibal was trying to cover up the fact that he was dead by making this like pre-programmed thing
Okay.
that he was controlling until we actually see Mason and he is still alive. He's
And
wearing a mask.
it's like,
Um,
how the fuck is this happening?
yeah, and we learned that what actually happened was he quote took a tumble into the pig pen and Margot found him and Margot saved him, which does make sense because he is an invalid now and he is the only way she
Hmm.
gets her money. He dies, she doesn't have money. So
Right.
it makes sense. But then Jack goes to further ask questions and he starts asking him like he's like, do you know Will? Like have you met any other of Dr. Lecter's like patients? And he's like, oh, I read about him. Never met him. I was like, you are a lot. Okay.
Ugh.
And so Jack just like realizes he's in a losing battle and he's like, fine, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And so then Margot shows up and she, bless her heart, is about to take advantage of the situation because she's like, I just want to take care of you, dear brother, the way you took care of me. And I was like, that is not going to go well for Mason.
No, it
Does he
surely is
deserve it?
not.
Yes. Not
Absolutely.
going to go well. Um, and Margot will, in the end, get her money.
Hmm.
Um, um, and then we go back to Will and Hannibal, our dream team. And they're talking about Achilles and Patroclus and like all this Greek myth and like
Yeah.
how it all came to be. And I was like, I do see your point, but it's also not super relevant. Maybe have like a normal person conversation for once. But
What?
Hannibal
No
start I
way.
know, God forbid. So Hannibal starts talking about Jack, and he's like, Jack is, already suspecting you. And Will's like, yeah, if he's suspecting me, though, he's also already suspecting you. And he's like,
Yeah.
I think you should just give him what he wants and give him closure. And Hannibal's like, well, Jack has become a friend. So I do suppose I owe him the truth. That's where we end. And if you recall from the beginning of the season, the next episode, we're going to have a fight with Jack and Hannibal. So this is how we've gotten to that point. Because we have one episode
But
left.
but but still, even knowing that, what true? Like what? Hmm.
I think Hannibal's going to do something to someone else that Jack cares about. And that's the way he's going to show him the truth that it's him without it being something
Yeah.
that can be tracked.
Yeah. That
Like the
makes
way Hannibal
sense.
killed Abigail to get to
To Will.
Will. I think he's going to
Yeah.
do something similar to get to Hannibal.
I don't think you're wrong. I just really don't like it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't love it either. Not a huge fan of that. So because it is next week is the finale, do you have any predictions?
I am sure someone is going to die. I'm not sure
Sure.
who. Um, I am afraid it's Alana. I've been thinking that Alana was going to die the whole season. Um, I don't I don't know who else Will could go after because I don't think Will would kill Bella because I don't think
I don't, but I think Hannibal might.
oh no, I'm sorry, not Han I meant Hannibal. I don't think Hannibal would kill Bella because I don't think Hannibal gets anything out of it because we already know Bella wants to die. So it's a very different emotional thing.
But he's not trying to get it the emotional, like he's trying to get that emotional response, but not necessarily from her. And I think he saved her for when it benefited him. And so I feel
Which is
like,
fair, which is fair. I don't think
yeah,
that that's wrong. I just don't know if it's powerful enough for where Hannibal's at right now.
yeah. I think it would be powerful enough to elicit that response out of Jack. That's what the way I'm thinking about it. I
Okay.
think Alana is also going to die. I don't think it's one death. I don't think we're going in to the season
Okay.
finale and one person is mildly going to die. Like I think it's
Oh, I
going to
don't
be a
think
little more.
which is fair. Totally
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, I think Freddy's going to be revealed to be alive.
I don't know how what I don't know what good it would do the story to not reveal it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel it kind of has to be. Now that they've told us, they have to tell the TV people.
Yeah.
Um I don't know what's going on with Dr. DeMaria though. I don't know if Hannibal's going to find a way to get to her while she's the FBI holding like and that's,
Maybe.
that's Jack's other witness because Mason's not a credible witness. He's not going to say anything. Will is a witness but seems to not be a credible one because no one believes him. Alana, if she dies, and then if he gets to
Right.
Dr. DeMaria, there's no witnesses left.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
So
know.
I don't know either. Um, did I have any? I don't think I had any trivia. Let me double check. Do, 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 do. Let's see. Oh, that's season one. Let's check season two. That's the one we're in. Um, oh, at one point, Hannibal says, discourtesy is unspeakingly ugly to me.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and it was a quote. Anthony Hopkins said the same thing in Silence of the Lambs.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but yeah, that's it. That's all I had for trivia. I thought I didn't really have any. So on that note, who do you want to punch in the face?
I mean, Hannibal.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
it's kind of a cop-out answer at this point, but
but it is the only
right.
best answer, like for sure. Um, yeah, because you're gonna punch Hannibal, I'm gonna have to go with Mason. I understand he's been through a lot in this episode,
Right.
but he's also not a great person. And now that he's whatever going on, he's not going to be a credible witness against Hannibal. There's no way he's going to
Well,
confess like to anything. So,
and also like the fact that like whatever he was put through, he also does not find it prudent to be truthful to Jack. He's going with
mhm,
this story, despite the fact that like he could literally be like, this is everything that happened to me, because Jack would believe him,
right,
and he doesn't, which means he has other motives, which is
right.
not cute.
Not cute, not cute. So who's your MVP?
Um, Gonna have to go with Jack again. I think I went
Yeah,
with Jack last week, but
I think you did too, but he's a good pick.
yeah.
Um, yeah, he is the best right now. I know we've had a lot of ups and downs with
We
him.
have had a lot of ups and downs with him, and I'm sure next week he's gonna end up doing something stupid and not by the books, which is gonna be why he's chasing Hannibal. Like, I get it. I'm prepared for me to
Right,
be pissed off at him next week. Um, but and like while Will is trying, Will is still willing his whole way through it all. And the and obviously Dr. DeMaurier has made some stupid choices, and Freddie and
mhm.
Alana weren't even in it this week. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know who else I would
yeah.
pick.
I do agree that Jack is the correct choice. I do believe since you picked him, I'm gonna go with Dr. DeMaurier.
Yeah,
She is begrudgingly there. She does not want to be there, but she is
there. Yeah,
semi trying to help. Yeah, like she is giving more away than, and granted, she does have immunity and whatnot now, so like, what does she have to lose? But
right. But
she
still,
is helping instead of running, you know?
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so I guess I'm gonna go with her. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I think I'm just prepared for next week to fuck me up even more.
Absolutely. No question about it. No question about it. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, if you have any thoughts, feelings, concerns, etc., you can email us, deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can find us on all of the social media at Death and Aliens. You can find me at CECloud13.
And you can find me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar.
And we'll see you next week for a probably crazy episode of Sci-Fi Sunday with it being
The season finale out.
the next before the season finale. We have 2 episodes left.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking you said with Thriller Thursday. No, yes. Next week is the penultimate episode for Sci-Fi Sunday, season finale for Thriller Thursday.
Yes,
So,
yes.
big
So it's
things
gonna be a
coming
big
up.
week. So
Yes.
stay tuned. All right, we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.